this session will be. But let me start again by quoting the scripture that says that we can understand God by studying creation or the work of his hand. Except for the invisibility of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Now, I was talking to someone this evening, and I was talking to her about how sometimes we prefer for God to remain mysterious because that makes you to think is powerful when it's mysterious. And that when you know and understand how things work, it doesn't look the way you see him again, because the way people perceive him, the fact that he's mysterious is what makes him powerful, and that's not true. Because he revealed to us per time what he wants us to know about him. And most of the time, they are indirectly revealed, not directly, indirectly, by the things that are made. He says, for the invisible things of him are clearly seen. And he said those invisible things that can be seen can easily be understood by the things that are made. Even the way he made you, the systems in your body, the organs in your body, the way he made the world and the earth and the universe. You know, the way the earth rotates on its axis once in 24 hours and revolve around the sun 365 1/4 days. And this has been for such a long time. And it has remained like that. Amazing. It has remained like that. He doesn't control it. He set a system in place to control it. So it doesn't look running up and down and helter-skelter to answer your prayer. He set a system in place you plug in to be able to receive answer to prayer. Another translation said, God, eternal power and character cannot be seen. But from the beginning of creation, God has shown what these are like by all that he has made. That is why those people don't have any excuse. I would like to also say that some of the language used in scriptures are based on the limitation of the understanding of the people at that time. If the scripture is going to be written today, you are going to see some changes in the language that is used. I'm sure you are going to see words like energy, frequency, and vibration, which is what the life and world is all about. And science is showing us every day, and science is proving it every day. For example, love, joy, and peace make you to be at a high frequency of vibration. And by vibration, I mean electromagnetic wave, the vibration of electromagnetic wave that science can measure emitting out of your body per time based on the way you are thinking and the way you are feeling. But anger, hatred, and fear is what makes people to do evil, and it's at a low frequency of vibration. This is why you should not do evil to anybody. You should not wish anybody evil. Why? That brings you to a low frequency of vibration. This is why as long as you are in Christ, which means you are full of love, you are full of joy, you are full of peace, evil power cannot harm you because you are above at a very high frequency of vibration. And in that is above all because you are at a high frequency of vibration. God has set system on it. And this makes him not to interfere in the way the earth operates every time. Some of these include the water cycle, the phosphorus cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle. These are natural cycles on the earth. He has also put in place systems to enable every human being to manifest their heart desire. And this is the focus of this series of seminar on unveiling and leveraging the God system of manifestation. Unveiling and leveraging the God system of manifestation, unveiling and leveraging the God system of manifestation. So today we are looking at stopping repetitive negative cycle. Stopping repetitive negative cycle. Repetitive negative cycle. Stopping it. Let me start by saying the goal of this session is to ensure that when you are disappointed, when you are frustrated, when you feel guilty because of something you did that you shouldn't have done, and because you made a mistake, when you are disappointed because you made a mistake, like you got angry, you lost money, you didn't get what you desire, spouse, job, money, whatever it is. The goal of this thing is to ensure that you don't stay down at that negative emotional state. Because if you stay down there in that low frequency of vibration, you are going to ensure that the negative situation repeats itself again. You are going to ensure that the negative situation repeats itself again. This will consequently lead to the repetitive negative cycle that you don't want in your life. That you don't want in your life. Do you notice something here? That somehow we contribute to that negative cycle by the emotion we exude, the frequency we emit, and how we feel because of negative situation in our life. And I'm saying today, when something negative happens to you, if you feel bad about it, if you feel disappointed, if you feel sad, if you feel unhappy, if you don't snap out of that early enough, you are going to repeat it. If you don't get out of that early enough, you are going to repeat it. Why? As a man thinketh in his heart, the operative word, in his heart, because that's the seat of emotion, in his heart. So is he. It's not just the way he think, the way he think in his heart, the seat of emotion, the way he think in his heart. So is he. So you are going to repeat it. Please note that you have been asleep for many years, much more longer than you have been awake. Who is a human being that is asleep? A human being that is asleep is a human being that is not aware of how his reality is formed. So when I say you have been asleep, I mean you are not aware of how you are shaping your reality yourself. You are not aware of how things are happening in your life. So you have been asleep. You are asleep until you come across this type of knowledge, either through books, seminars, and the worst thing you can do to yourself is to forget the fact that you have been asleep much more than you have been awake. Now, what I'm trying to say by that is, because you are just awakened, you are 20, you are 25, you are 30, you are 35, and you're just getting to know about what we have been discussing since last year. You have been awake. You have been asleep more than you have been awake. Because with this information, you become awakened from your sleep, from your slumber. You are now conscious of how reality are formed. You're not conscious of how you feel. You're not conscious of how you do. You're not conscious of how your mental declaration is affecting your reality. Now, when you become aware, because to be awake, when you're awake, you're aware. When you're asleep, you're not aware of what's happening around you. When you're awake, you're aware. Now that you're aware, the worst thing you can do to yourself is to forget the fact that you have been asleep for long. To be asleep in this sense is to be unaware of how you are directly shaping and influencing the reality that you currently see in your life. When you are awake, When you are aware of this fact, then you are now awake. And that means you will become more conscious of your emotion. Therefore, you must ensure that you give yourself some slack. Give yourself some grace. And by giving yourself some slack or grace, I mean a period where a period to completely overcome the old frequency. A period to completely overcome the old, because there is a way, for example, when something bad happens, there is a way from when you are young, they've trained you to feel sad, to feel bad, to be unhappy. And there is a synapse, there is a neural connection that control that feeling, that when this happens, you should not feel happy, you should feel bad, you should feel sad. When you lost something, you feel sad. When you're able to get some, there is a connect. Now I'm telling you, you need to change. And all I've said over the last few months is to let you know you must create a new, you have learned something new, and now you are responding. There is a synapse controlling the reacting. Now I'm saying you need to form a new connection that will ensure you respond. Now, this other one has been on for 20 years. This one you are just starting. Now, you are going to find yourself snapping back to that old way of behavior occasionally. There is a temptation to think that because you have come across this type of knowledge now, you are supposed to become transformed immediately, but that's not true. But the transformation you are expecting involves the renewing of your mind, and this takes some time. He said, be ye transformed by renewing your mind. But it's a process. This is because you have spent long years accustomed to the frequency of being asleep and living in your old ways. This frequency of this old way of life has solidified and has been compounded for decades of your life. So you should not be surprised that sometimes you slip back, you slide back, you fall short sometimes. So it's like you are surprised. If you are surprised you fell short sometimes and you slip back sometimes, it's like being surprised of you want to fight Mike Tyson in a boxing match. The fact that he's bigger than you, stronger than you, better than you in the game means he will likely win. That is exactly why you need to give yourself some slack, some grace, because you just got here through this new knowledge. You're just getting to learn about this maybe this year or maybe late last year when we started this series. So give yourself some slack. Someone says something, you feel bad about it immediately. You say, why did I feel like that? I shouldn't feel like that too. No, that's not nice. And then you came back to yourself. That's okay. The fact that you are conscious of the fact that you came back to yourself, the fact that you are conscious of it, it's an evidence that you are already better. Because if you feel, I fell short, that means you were high up before. That's why you fell short. That means you're already making some progress. So pat yourself at the back. After hearing this and trying to live by this principle, you might sometimes find yourself sliding back or slipping back or falling short into your old way, old behavior. But that is fine. That is the old frequency trying to come back. You can see this as a withdrawal syndrome because the old frequency is addictive. The old frequency is addictive. You've been angry when someone says something against you that you don't like. You've been sad. You've been you feeling bad when there is a lot. These are things you are already addicted to. This is because the body now crave for those dopamine, those hormone released by your old lifestyle because it is used to it. It is used to it. So the old frequency has been compounded and solidified for many years, and it will not be dismantled just because you got a new knowledge. The reason why you need to give yourself some slack and grace period is because you don't fall is so that because you don't fall into guilt, disappointment, or frustration because you fell back. So you don't feel guilty, sad, and unhappy because you fell back. Please note that the guilt, the disappointment are extremely dangerous because they are glue that can get you stuck in your old frequency. So when you made a mistake, when you fell short, when you slide back, do not feel disappointed, do not feel guilty, do not feel frustrated, do not feel sad, because that will keep you in your old ways. For many people, because of how profound this information is to them, they want to begin to see results immediately. They practice this principle. They therefore feel guilty, disappointed, and frustrated because of their sliding back, falling short, and this will make them remain in their old frequency. Please note that frequency oscillates. That means it goes up and down. And that is why you should not feel bad that you fell back to your old ways sometimes, because it's like a baby trying to walk. A baby is trying to walk. He's taking little step. He fell. Taking little step. He fell. Taking until he mastered it. When the baby falls, you encourage the baby to stand up and continue. Why are you sad that you are taking little step and you're falling and you're just starting. You've been in this for 20 years. You have just started learning this. So why do you feel discouraged, unhappy, sad, disappointed? Because you feel you should be doing better, which is good. Only that the tendency, the real issue is when you fall short, how you feel about it is the problem I'm trying to get you to avoid. Because if you don't want that negative thing to repeat itself, if you don't want a repetition of that negative situation, that falling short, if you don't want it to be a repetition, then you have to snap out of that frustration. Note that you have only fallen back because you have risen from the level before. The reason you say you fell short is because you were high up before. The only issue now is how much time you spend in that state of guilt or feeling bad. If you don't get conscious and get back on track, you will compound and solidify that feeling. You compound and solidify that feeling. There is a universal law of rhythm. And what it says is that everything flows in and out, rise and fall. There are natural cycle and rhythm in life that affect all things. The principle emphasizes the cyclical nature of life and event. The changes of season is a clear illustration of this principle. Just as spring follows winter, people experience cycle of highs and lows in their lives. Such as period of success and failure, period of good health and bad health. The experience of high and low in your frequency are normal and should not be something bad, because you are going to remain perpetually more on the high after you have mastered this art and you are overcoming the frequency, the old frequency that always want to bring you low. However, the way you navigate through and get out of this low state is very important. So you don't remain in this low level. Knowing that frequency oscillates help you to understand that low is normal and let you ensure that you don't remain in that low level for long. The old frequency will set you up with unrealistic expectation and thus let you begin to see yourself at a level higher than where you are now because of the new knowledge. It makes you to think that you will magically and instantly get transformed. And his goal is to make you feel guilty, disappointed, and frustrated when you don't see what you were expecting. This is because low frequency emotion that you emit when it makes you feel guilty, disappointed, and frustrated will make you restore the old frequency. Remember, your goal is to be in the new frequency where you are responding to the situation and issue of life and not reacting. Where you are responding to the issue of life and not reacting. You should be responding and not reacting. The old frequency, the old mind is reacting, but the new one is responding. It's responding. It's responding. You need to understand that remaining perpetually in the low frequency of vibration because of the unguarded moment that made you got angry, sad, we only reinforce the old frequency. Now, what I'm trying to say tonight is you have known that you must try to be in that state where you create heaven within, full of love, joy, and peace. But I'm also saying sometimes something happened, you're unguarded, you forgot yourself, and you reacted in the way you have not should not be reacting. And I'm saying, even though that happened, don't feel sad, don't feel bad, don't feel frustrated, don't feel disappointed, because the reason why you are tested with this kind of scenario is to confirm if indeed you are now in the new frequency and you are ready to receive the new reality. So you shouldn't feel bad. It sounds somehow that, so how do I lose something? Or someone says something nasty about me. Someone, I think, why do I, how? Because the reason you are saying that is because the way you grew up, it is normal and natural to react rather than responding. Because that if you meet someone who was trained as a child to respond, he will see you as weird when you react. Because he's trained to respond. So you have been trained to react. You have been trained to react. Now I'm saying you should respond. So sometimes it won't be easy because you are just starting. And I'm saying your job is to continue so that at the end of the day, you get used to it, it becomes your natural default mode in those such situations. One of the ways to handle disappointment, discouragement, frustration in life is to have a good understanding. Please, what I want to explain now, don't forget this. Please hold this tight in your life. This will help you a lot in dealing with issues of life. What I'm about to say will help you a lot. Please take note of this. One of the ways to handle disappointment, discouragement, and frustration in life is to have a good understanding of how to interpret the situation. Let me state this. Please note that all paths lead to one place, and that is the place of your desired reality. All paths lead to one place, and that is the place of your desired reality. All paths lead to one place, and that is the place of your desired reality. All paths lead to one place, and that is the place of your desired reality. All paths lead to one place. So, for example, if your desire is to make more money, you want to manifest more money, or you want to manifest job, let's use job. Good job. You now did an interview and you were not chosen, or you did an interview and you were chosen. You see, those two situations is going to lead to the same place. And the end result is your desired reality. Now, you see that end result is determined by you. It's determined by you. It's determined by you. The reason for this is the fact that you made the law of your life. You made the law of your life. You made the law of your desired reality. That is why if you say this situation is good, then it will be a good situation. If you say this situation is bad, then it will be a bad situation for you. Even if you fall off, even if things seem to be going bad or going worse, it will still work in your favor as long as you maintain the right mental attitude. As long as you maintain the right mental attitude. That is why the scripture says that, and we know that all things work together for good. And we know that all things work together for good. You know, immediately you know the end result, you don't feel bad. And I was talking to someone, I was explaining to someone that, let's say you're a football fan, you watch a match live, you know the result, your team won. Then you are now with a team of friends who did not watch, and they are now watching the match again. You have watched it. You know the team that won, but you didn't tell them. Now, the match is ongoing in replay, and they are feeling agitated. Hey, they want to... You are not worried, you are not bothered that they want to win you because you know you won. You know the score and you know you won. When you are conscious of the fact that all paths lead to the same place for your desired reality, you will not be worried. As long as you maintain the right mental attitude. See that situation? It will work together for your good. Now, this is the reason why you should not feel agitated, frustrated, sad, unhappy when things does not go the way you were expecting it. Because if you maintain the right mental attitude, you see that situation is going to eventually work in your favor. But you must keep the right mental attitude. That means you are still doing your visualization and affirmation. You believe you have it because you can only have what you already have. You believe you have received it. You can only receive what you have already received. So even though the situation on the surface look not quite like it's done, but you are not walking by sight, you are walking by faith. You're not walking by sight, you are walking by faith. You're not allowing what you are seeing to determine the way you feel. You're allowing what you have seen with your mind eye to determine how you feel. You're not allowing what you have seen with your eyesight to determine what you feel. Because your eyesight sees only 0.0035% of reality. Your eye sees only 0.0035% of reality. Your eye sees only 0.0035% of reality. So you don't see reality well enough with your eyesight. You see with your mind sight. As long as you maintain the right mental attitude, all situations in your life, good or bad, lead to your desired reality. A perfect example for this is Joseph. Joseph had a dream. He had an expectation. Even though he was thrown into the pit, eventually found himself as a slave in Potiphar's house. He was thrown into the prison. But guess what? He maintained the right mental attitude. The reason he could be diligent at work, even though he was thrown in as slave by sleeping, is because he had the right mental attitude. That's why he was diligent and still doing his work. The reason he could run away from Potiphar's wife is because he has a right mental attitude, not take advantage of the wife of the boss. The reason he was able to solve the problem of sheep baker and sheep butler is because he has the right mental attitude. As long as you love the Lord and working according to his purpose, that's exactly what you see in the life of Joseph. You can't claim to love God without loving people. As long as you have the right mental attitude, how do you have the right mental attitude? Full of love and living a purposeful life. full of love and living a purposeful life. Full of love and living it. As long as they are full of love and living a purposeful life, all things will work together for your good, including the one that appear to be a loss. Because you are looking at it with your eyesight, rather with your mind sight. All things work together for good. Every situation in your life, all paths lead to desired reality. You see that not calling you after the interview, that loss of money, that loss of job, that loss and deposit, all of them, they lead to the same place. Just maintain the right mental attitude. The challenge is that you allow your eyes to deceive you. So you feel terrible, you feel because of the way you are interpreting that situation. Unfortunately, you are going to repeat that negative cycle because immediately you feel bad about that situation. You now feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel unhappy. You are already in a state that emit a frequency to attract that same state again to you. Can you see how foolish we can be as human beings when we are asleep and we are not awake and conscious of the way we feel affect our lives? Is this making sense to any one of you? Drop a message in the chat if this is making sense to you. Drop a message in the chat if it's making sense to you. Draw something in the chat if it's making sense to you. If you are getting something tonight, draw something in the chat. Let me see your message in the chat. If this is making sense to you, I'm waiting. If you are getting something tonight, okay, I can see Grace. If you are getting something tonight, if this is making sense to you, I can hear from Ekene. If this is making sense to you, making you to be able to see how we perpetrate negative situation in our life, how we repeat negative situation in our life. That is why the scripture says that we know that all things work together for good. We are assured and know that God, being a partner in their labor, all things work together and is fitting into a plan for good to and for those who love God and call according to his purpose. So if you maintain the right mental attitude, and still having the love for God with love for humanity in your heart and living a purposeful life with a fruitful, which is a fruitful life of blessing to others, all things work together. That so-called negative situation is going to eventually work together for your good. So even though the road of gain and of loss seems separate, they will eventually lead to one place, the place of your desired reality. All paths lead to the desired reality, no matter how reality in your life currently look like. That is why you should see situations and circumstances in your life with the God eyesight and not by human eyesight. The question then is, the next time you fall off a high frequency, how do you navigate back to be on course? How do you navigate back to be on course? First, you should not see falling off. See it as falling off. But rather, you should see it as a natural course. If the universe, you should see it as a natural course of the universe. And so the rhythm will get you back soon. To get back on track, therefore, you need to remind yourself that you have done it before, and so you can do it again. Yes, really deep. It takes a lot at first, as it's painful and shocking when you experience something unpleasant. It's painful and shocking because of the interpretation you give it. So over time, you begin to give it the interpretation that serves you. The interpretation that serves you. That thing that you say is painful and shocking. If it didn't happen to you and happen to someone else, you won't feel the way you are feeling when it happened to you. And the reason is because you are interpreting like, it's not me now, it should be someone else. Because you see it as someone else, you don't feel the pain. But if that someone else is a close friend and you share in his pain, you can still feel the pain even if it happened to someone else because of the way you interpret it. So it's not really because it happened to you, it's the way you interpret it. Because it can happen to someone else and you still feel the pain because of the way you interpret it, because of your closeness to that person. Because of your closeness to that person. Because of your closeness to that person. To get back on track, therefore, you need to remind yourself that you have done it before, and so you can do it again. Remember, you fall off. That means you were up before. The goal of the old frequency is to get you to forget your old wins. You've won before now. You've done this before now. You remain like this for even days and you were fine. So you have some wins. You have some wins. Remind yourself they have done it before and you can do it again. The goal of the old frequency is to get you to forget your old wins, your old successes, and high frequency. You must be conscious of what is going on and be able to become aware of your power and previous wins. Of your power and previous win. Of your power and previous wins. So focus your attention and awareness on the previous win because, listen to this, attention creates alignment. 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 Rather, giving attention to the fact that you fell, why not giving attention to the fact that you've won before? You've gone for days and you feel good about yourself, your attitude and response to issues. Focus on what you have done well in the past, how you have gone for days, how you have responded well in the past. Focus on it. How you have made money in the past. Focus on it. How you have gotten some good opportunity in the past. Focus on it. Focus on your wins rather than your losses, rather than what is not working. Let me tell you what I discovered. Because of the way we have been programmed, we are more comfortable focused on the wrong thing. We are more comfortable focusing on the wrong thing. So today, if you are a young graduate looking for a job, people will sympathize with you if you don't have anything doing with your life. They make you to feel pity. If you don't feel pity of yourself and you're excited and happy, even though you are looking for a job, people will see you as you are not serious. What's wrong with you? Why are you happy? Everybody is going to work. You're not going to work. You're sitting down at home. What they want to do is to make you feel bad, feel terrible, feel unhappy. We have been programmed to feel sad, unhappy, when things are not going well in our life. But that feeling perpetuates that state you are trying to avoid. And that's why people continue repetitive negative cycle. The high frequency you have attained exists as an energy that you can tap into again and move back up to a higher frequency. When you don't understand that your old winds exist as a frequency, you will not be able to tap into it. The reason why you are guilty, disappointed, frustrated is because you are winning before. You are winning before. So focus on your old wins, because this is what will get you out of the low where you fell into. Don't get discouraged when your words, action, thought, character, and habits show that you are back in the low level of vibration. Your job is to spend more time on the frequency. Your job is to spend more time on the frequency where things are going right by remembering those times, focusing your attention on them. Your mind needs to focus on those times. You might need to focus on those times and record them and play them again and again, as long as you can, till you are back on track. You know, when you focus on the negative, it keeps you low. When you focus on the positive, it brings you up, take you to that high level. As long as you can, till you come back on track. This is necessary in order to remind yourself that you have done it before, and therefore you are very much capable of doing it again. The process of coming out of this low level of vibration is called transmutation. Please know that transmutation can only begin when you alter your vibration. The rate of your vibration can be altered by when you alter your concentration. Now, when you feel sad, something have happened, you feel sad and disappointed, and you focus on it, and you are thinking about it, you're worried, you're full of anxiety, that focus make you to vibrate at low level of vibration. That compound to be a frequency that attracts similar situation to you. But when you choose that, in spite of what have happened, you focus your attention, energy on the positive that make you to vibrate at the higher level of vibration, of peace, of joy, in spite of the situation. And that compound to a frequency that attract to you situation and circumstances that will bring joy to your life. 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 You must be very deliberate. If you concentrate on worry and anxiety, you align worry and anxiety, you attract worry and anxiety. If you concentrate on love, joy, and peace, you align with love, joy, and peace, you attract things that bring love, joy, and peace. When you alter your concentration, it alters your vibration, which compound into a frequency, and this materialize in the physical plane as your reality. This materialize in the physical plane as your reality. This is how your circumstances and situation change in life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how your circumstances and situation change in life. Remember, the scripture call it this way: whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, whatsoever things are praiseworthy, think on this thing. When you think on those things that are lovely, that are pure, that are good, you know what happened? You attract more good to your life. This is how your circumstances and situation change in life. If you don't like what you are seeing today in your life, just begin to practice this every day. So from today, remember, when you fall, it is because you have risen before, which is the good news that you have done it before and you can do it again. Therefore, don't get disappointed, don't get frustrated, don't get guilty when things happen in your environment that you don't want. Rather, transmute by focusing your attention, your thought, your concentration and mind on those wins you have had in the past. On those wins you have had in the past. And if you do it long enough, you'll be back up on the high frequency. And guess what? This will attract your desired reality to your life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my message for you today. What have you learned this evening? Good evening. Ekene, you are number one on my list. Good evening. How are you? What have you learned tonight?
Sir, good evening, sir. Thank you so much once again. I always try to keep a date here because it inspires me and reminds me to continually practice, right? So one thing I remembered, like from this from this teaching, your attention brings alignment, right? Yeah, what you continually focus on, what you continually focus on. And okay, I took something new today that though when we fall, it's a sign that we've risen before. When we yeah when we feel, so we need to constantly and continually be in the emotion of love, of joy, of peace.
Yeah.
And also in the emotion of enlightenment. I think you one time you said that enlightenment can be achieved when we are praying, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's one of the things I've learned, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bless
much.
you.
Grace, good evening. Hello, Grace. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Am I the next person?
Yeah, the next person.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, good evening, sir. Okay, yeah, so just to add up on what Ekene said, when he said that when we fall, it means we we we've risen before. So, and then because while you were talking, I was just flashing back to something that happened last week at my place of work. And when it happened, I didn't feel good about it. So I was asking myself, how did I even allow this? And whenever, even though I ask God, I say, God, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did. That I just let it thing go and let it be. And I told myself, I think I need to actually extend grace to myself because you something you mentioned over and over again. So okay, so by that way, by doing that, I don't get to repeat that negative cycle that I don't want. So because if I keep brooding over, oh, why did I do this? I could have done this.
I
It's
like
not going to
that
help me.
word, brooding. Brooding. That's exactly what we do. Brooding. Go ahead.
Yes, so like, okay, that it's not going to help me. Okay, I should just like, and I love the picture you painted about a child trying to walk. You know, the child takes the step and then he falls. The child, stands up again. And like, oh, the child does not sit there and say, oh no, I'm not walking again. And then the child picks up again. So like when I see myself like falling short of anything negative or something I don't like, I should remain in that state. And yeah, I can feel bad, but I should not remain in that. I should be able to, snap back
Get out of it.
to, yeah, snap out of it immediately and not stay there. And yeah, I know I'm being conscious because, which is one thing, because, one who is not conscious, like, just like somebody who is not living right. So the person does anything bad, doesn't feel bad about it, just like, oh, it's part of life continues. But me being cautious that, okay, this is something that is not good. So it's a good thing, but at the same time, whenever I fall short of that, I should get out of it immediately and extend grace to myself. So rather than just remain in that position, because while you were talking, that memory just came back out, and I was like, Joyce, why did you say that? And then another thing I also need, I know I told myself that, okay, that's right, I need to respond and not react. And and I wrote it down because I know, because when I write some things down, it's me, okay, when I find myself in a situation, to know how to handle such situations. Okay, the new frequency response and the old one actually reacts. Even though I know, yes, no, we have to react and we have to respond and not react. But I needed to write that, okay, this new frequency is the one that's going to respond. So, which is actually going to help me. Yeah. So, and then learning to gain that attention brings alignment.
Yeah.
And then another thing, like, okay, when that thing happened, I should have interpreted it in a way that served me right. Because sincerely, I was boiling. That's fair enough.
You're boiling
Because
what?
somebody was like, I was boiling in my, like, I don't know, like when that situation last week, I didn't feel good about it. And because I didn't like the way what happened, and I could not respond, I was reacting, and the reaction I was getting, I didn't like it. So I was like, oh, if I think I should, I should have responded in a way that served me. So before I even, which actually, is going to like help me to be more patient in the sense that, okay, definitely before I react, I'll think of how I want to react. So I won't maybe somebody is saying something, instead of me responding and saying things, no, I just keep quiet because I'm trying to, like, okay, so how do I react? How do I respond in the way it's going to serve me? So which actually, helps just cool the whole tension or whatever. And then another time I thought of again, he said, not shouldn't think even of other people, like, oh, something bad should happen to them. And then because what, and which has to do with our relationship with God. So if you're thinking, because somebody did something bad to you, something bad, but then you are attracting negative things yourself. So yeah, I actually really learned a lot today, which I'm actually going to. Yeah, I it's not maybe I'm not I not like doing all these things, like, but just that consciousness. Okay, you have to respond and not react, and then the life, and then giving myself grace.
It's 21 hours.
I don't do. Giving myself grace. I really need to do that. Yeah. So Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Favor, good evening.
Sir, good evening all. Thank you very much, sir, for this session. Um, I think for me, one of the things I took away from this session is the fact that just like you mentioned on those things that are pure, those things that are of good report, think of these things. That's um taking myself to that place where my thought is actually aligning correctly and not being in a state of mind where the frequency is low. I actually put up shocking and painful because sometimes some of these things, when they happen in, I don't know how to put it, they happen unexpectedly. Like the example you were given about somebody saying something to you that is not right. um you at the back of your head you just know this is right and this is the truth, and then somebody probably says something that is untrue. It initially comes shocking to the person, like how are you able to think out this thing and say it even when you know within you that it's wrong. So if somebody is saying something and it's untrue, it's, I don't know how to put it. That's what comes first to mind. Before that was why I wrote like shocking and painful. But thank you very much because you clarified it as regards, okay, if it was happening to somebody, what would the reaction have been?
Yes, because
So
of the
I
interpretation. It's the way you see it. Doesn't matter what the issue is. It's the way you see it. If it happens to someone else, if it's close, you will still feel the way you are feeling. If it's someone that is not close, it will just be one person. Okay. Okay, for example, CBEX. People lost money, right? If you lost money, you're going to feel bad. If your sibling that need, let's say your sibling, someone that is close to you that needed money, invest in it, and he lost, you feel bad. But a number of people lost money, you don't know them. You don't bother because there's no interpretation. Why? Because they are distant. So it's not, it's the way you see it that make you to feel bad. Immediately you know that, you now say, okay, I need to begin to see this differently. This is the being awake. That's actually being awake. When you are asleep, you are unconscious, you are unaware of what your emotion is doing to your life. You are unconscious, you are not aware of your emotion is doing to your life. But when you are awake, you are now very conscious and very aware of what your emotion is doing to your life. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So with that, that means that to a very large extent, being conscious, the consciousness here is what helps to realign oneself, not to rather than react, but rather respond at that moment. Maybe take a breather to be able to respond rightly at the moment. Thank you very much, sir, for this session. Really grateful. It's quite deep. It's deeper than um, it's really deep because it happens. It's like a daily occurrence. So it
Yes.
happens
Yes.
daily. So it means that at each time, yeah, one has to call oneself back to the frequency that one ought to operate in. But thank you very much, sir, for the session.
All right. Thank you. Namdi, good evening. Hello, Namdi. Are you there? Namdi. Benita, good evening. Okay, Ekene's battery is low. Okay. Benita, good evening. Are you there? All right. I think they have issue. Maybe they are not here. All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, Benita, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you so much. Wow, tonight has been wonderful because I was just reasoning what you said that is the way we reason that makes us react.
Yes.
And that's actually true. God will help us.
The way you are signing, wait. Why are you signing like that? I need to know why you are signing like that.
Because sometimes we cannot control the way people talk to us.
Yes.
But we can control the way we react.
Thank you.
And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Because something actually happened. Was it yesterday? Yes,
Okay.
so yesterday somebody said something in the office, and so the way another person reacted, me, I was there. I was just looking at both everything. I was just smiling. So we can't control what comes out of people's mouths, because some people do not even think
before they
don't reason before. Yes, they don't. And so sometimes when you come out like that, reactions are always sometimes negative, based on what the last week has been. Because I don't understand what you will not take. Why would you bring it out of your mouth? So sometimes with what I've been learning here, when people talk, sometimes I was just like, sometimes I just ignore them. I don't respond, because sometimes I feel that it's not worth my time. They don't understand. If they understand, they won't voice out what they voice. So I just reason that, okay, everybody is entitled to what they want to say. And me, I'm entitled to how I react to what they say.
In fact, I see it as imprisonment if you can't control what people do and you can't control what you can do. It's imprisonment. Yes, now you can't control how people behave. You can't control the way you behave also. It's imprisonment, though. Imprisonment, serious one. Because if they can be, they be unguarded, you shouldn't be also. That's double tragedy. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll continue next week. Next week, we have an interesting topic. The topic we have next week is called how to effectively communicate with God's system of manifestation. How to effectively communicate. How to effectively communicate with God's system of manifestation. See you next week. Have a great week ahead. Happy Easter and bye-bye.
Thank you. Happy Easter. Bye.
Bye-bye.